Welcome into the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com for Saturday, March 31st. Don Leach along with Jim Goodman, Keeneland's Director of Wagering Development, as we take a look at the late pick 4, which is all graded stakes down at Gulfstream Park, culminating with a Grade 1 Florida Derby. So, Jim, let's jump in at the front end of this pick 4. We'll talk about each of the stakes races, and then we'll come back and do our pick 4 tickets. So the 11th leads it off. It's the Grade 3 Honey Fox, 1 mile on the turf for fillies and mares 4 and up. And this is a group that's drawn a nice field here. Who'd you go with?
Yeah, it's a nice field, and I actually liked On Leave the best, but I really don't like that post position. She's hung out in the 10 hole. She comes from out of it anyway, so that's probably not going to hurt her too bad. But that track down there, the turf course has been, it's had a long winter, and I'm not sure that it sets up very well for her come from behind style, especially from the 10 hole. So I'm going to use her in the pick 4, but I'm not going to pick her. I'm going to go with Lull. Lull's been one of my favorite mares for a long time, and Christophe Clement seems to have her going in the right way. As of November, she ran 3rd in the or 5th in the Matriarch, got beat by 3 lengths. I think it's a good place for her to come back, and she hadn't been at Gulfstream before, so that's a question mark, but she's certainly faced good competition. So I'm going to take Lull on top. Stormy Victoria, the 3, the other Clement with a chance, had a good second in the My Charmer 2 races back, and then won a listed stakes at Gulfstream last time out under Rosario and gets Gauffillon now. I think the other horses that have a shot, I think Glory to Kitten, the 1 for Alvarado, really turned on last time in a listed stakes at Gulfstream, and she could like that 1 hole and could go a long ways. She shows some early speed, so there's no other speed inside. The Conquest Hard Candy and Team of Teams have a lot of speed, but I think she might be a good one at a price. And Race Ipsa, the 8, been off since October, but that was a pretty good race at Keeneland when she won an allowance race, and she's been tested in stakes before, and she may need a race, but Le Peru and Wilkes is a great combination, so 21% on the year. So that's who I like there. I think Lull is my pick, but I'm going to use the 1, 3, 8, 10 below her in the exacta wheels.
I ended up taking On Leave. I'm like you. I'm not wild about the post position, but she does have 4 wins at a mile, and I think maybe just a little bit of a class edge. Probably not so much over Lull, but Lull's coming off the layoff. But I think she's got an edge on the rest of them, and she's raced a little more recently than has Lull. So just on the basis of that, I'm going to take On Leave here. Lull certainly the one to beat, and I think Glory to Kitten is definitely one to look at a nice price. Don't know for sure to win, but she could be second, especially with a nice post there. I think Grizzle, the 6, at a nice price, around 10-1, could hit the board as well. So there's a couple of prices, the 1 and the 6, to play around with within the race to juice up the exacta and the try perhaps. But On Leave for me in the Honey Fox. 12th race, the Grade 2 Gulfstream Park Oaks, for 3-year-old fillies going a mile and a 16th. And this feels like, to me, it could be a bit of an upset race. Take Charge Paula has not really made any significant improvement in speed figures, but I think has kept classier company to this point. Princess Warrior is the one I ended up picking. It's a little bit of a shaky pick, but I thought her 3-year-old debut was good, given that it was her first time on turf and didn't have the greatest of trips from the inside. Now she's getting a jock upgrade, I think, to a Rad Ortiz. And I think, off of that second in the Grade 1 Alcibiades last fall, she's got some class. So I ended up taking her, but there's a couple of horses that are probably going to be around 7-8-1 that I think bear watching. Coach Rock's really impressive. And it was just in a maiden race last time, but she won by 8, and the runner-up, who was even money, was 8 ahead of 3rd place. And I thought that was a legitimately strong performance by Coach Rocks, and with her speed, I think she's got a shot here to upset him. And Cachet, the 4, making only her 3rd lifetime start, first around 2 turns, but she looked really good in her debut with a 77 buyer, and I think she's got some class and probably stakes win in her future at some point. So maybe it could be now. So I think those 2, I'm going to go deep in the pick 4 when we talk about it, but I think those 2 bear a long look in this race. And then I mentioned Take Charge Paula. 5, Daisy. Johnny V is staying with her. I think she's worthy of some consideration. And then the 12-horse Mirab for Graham Motion, just on the basis of a really strong finish on that deep Tampa track in her 3-year-old debut, and if she builds on that, she could maybe get in the mix at a really good price. So I'm going to throw her in as well. But 9, Princess Warrior, kind of a lukewarm pick for me there. How about you?
I like Princess Warrior as well. I thought that she may have needed that last race when she came back in the Here Comes the Bride, and that was her first time out as a 3-year-old filly, and she finished 3 lengths behind a couple other horses that have not come back from that race yet, but got a 78 buyer, which is 8 points better than her last race. She had an 86 at her Churchill debut. That's pretty strong for a 2-year-old filly. So I think Princess Warrior has a big shot here. I would make her a co-choice with Take Charge Paula, the 3, simply because of back class in this one. The 4 Gal was an extremely impressive race at Gulfstream, won by 3.5, and came back to Devona Dow and ran okay, right with Heaven Has My Nikki. I think the other horse I like, Cachet, only 2 starts for Henning, has a lot of upside, and she was extremely impressive in her debut. And CS In Charge is the other one I'd throw in there, the 8 horse who won the Suncoast at Tampa, which is a race that you mentioned a couple horses coming out of, Daisy and Marab. She actually beat those 2 horses. That was her second race as a 3-year-old. She won her maiden special weight and came back and won off a maiden win, so which is pretty impressive. And I think Romans gets them ready. So CS In Charge has a shot as well. So I'm going to kind of Princess Warrior, the 9, and Take Charge Paula, the 3, my exacta box. And it's hard for me to pick between them. If you made me take one, I'd probably take Charge Paula.
13th race is 1.5 miles on the turf. The Grade 2 Pan American, Sadler's Joy, probably going to be a strong favorite in there. Where did you land in the Pan American?
Sadler's Joy. I was against him last time, and when he won the Mac Diarmond, and I thought he might need that race. He was very impressive. Came roaring down the middle and just blew him away. And he loves 1.5 miles. I'm not going to single him. Although if I had a cheaper ticket, I would single him because he came from, they say 12 out of it. I think he was further than that out of it. And he was in the 1 hole, which compromises a closer sometimes. So Lay Peru came blasting down the stretch, and you could tell he was going to win 100 yards from the finish line. And he beat One Go All Go in that race, who I thought had all the pace advantage. So he overcome a lot, and I think that's very impressive, and I think it sets him up well here. The other horses, I'm not going to single. I'm going to use Bigger Picture for Mike Maker, who ran in Houston in the J.B. Conley and won that. But if you go back to the Sword Dancer last year, Grade 1 at Saratoga, 1.5 mile race, got beat by 1/2 length to Sadler's Joy. And he's obviously capable of putting those races together. He had a 103, 104, 104 buyer, thinking that he had that first race back at Houston. He won it, obviously targeting this race all along. I think Bigger Picture's got a huge shot. If he goes 6-1, I will bet him to win. The other one I would use is Bullard's Alley, the 2, just because won the Canadian International in that blast out performance with a 114 buyer. Hadn't been that good since, but he obviously adapted to the distance. So Bullard's Alley has a shot as well. But I am going to take Sadler's Joy as the pick.
I am on Bigger Picture. Right there with you on some of the things you said. I think that 6-1's real attractive, and he's shown in the past that he can be this good. And I thought that was a nice, solid win first out for the year. And then I like the pattern of 6 works spaced out a week apart leading into this, and looks like this has been the main early season target for this horse. And I think Pan American or the Pan American can go to Bigger Picture, and if not, he can certainly juice up the exacta if he finishes second. So I would key him with Sadler's Joy, High Happy for Pletcher, and Bullard's Alley, the 3 more likely ones off the morning line prices anyway. And I'll use all 4 of those when we get to the pick 4, and feel pretty confident that one of those 4 will get there. Grade 1 Florida Derby is the 14th race on the card on Saturday down at Gulfstream. And this is 1.8 miles. They've got a field of 9, and you've got some horses that have had impressive wins. I'm going for a horse that didn't win yet this year, Catholic Boy. I think there's a good bit of speed in here, which will help him. But my main angle on Catholic Boy is that I think he really needs this more so than the others from the Derby points standpoint. I think he needs a strong run here. Probably could get in with a runner-up finish, but certainly a win would do it. So I think he's going to be cranked for his best. Irad Ortiz, I like that change in the saddle. And then this horse is the only one in the race that's already won at 1 1/8, taking the Remsen last fall, which doesn't hurt. Then I'm going to use him with 2 horses. Promises Fulfilled, who I thought was real impressive, and I see no reason why he couldn't build on that. But he's going to, I think, face a different pace setup here this time. And then Audible, the 8, who was so impressive for Pletcher in the Holy Bull. So you got to take those 2, but Catholic Boy is going to be my pick in the Florida Derby. What's yours?
He was my second choice, but Audible was my first choice. I went back and watched the Holy Bull, and that's one of the most impressive 3-year-old performances of the year. And I think you're right. He doesn't have to win here, but building on that race and stretching out to 1 1/8, I think he's going to like it. I think he obviously this is going to be his prep for the Derby, and I couldn't find anything wrong with that performance. It beat a pretty good field. Free Dot Billy has proven not to be a top-notch horse for Romans. He hadn't transferred his 2-year-old form over to 3 yet. His Mischief is a nice horse, but I thought the Holy Bull was extremely impressive. And Catholic Boy is my second choice. I thought the Sam Davis runner-up almost beat Flame Away, who's come back and run well again. And you're right, Catholic Boy does need the race. And I love Manny Franco, but Irad Ortiz is a move up there for Catholic Boy. Strike Power, the 1, I could make a case for. Off the Fountain of Youth, got beat by Promises Fulfilled, but I think Strike Power and Promises Fulfilled are both going to be compromised by the pace here. I thought that day they went around 1, 2, 3 all the way through on the Fountain of Youth. It may not be that speed favoring the track, and Audible's a pretty strong finisher. The other horse that I liked at a price is Mississippi. I think Pioneer of the Nile is going to love the stretch out. Got beat by Noble Indy in the optional 75 claimer, his 3-year-old debut at Gulfstream. Didn't build off that. Got beat by Storm Runner in the next time out, but I think he really got a lot out of that race. And Noble Indy obviously came back and won the Louisiana Derby last week. So I think Mississippi at 12-1, especially worth a win bet, and he has to have them. He has no stakes winning, so he's got to have this race to get in the Kentucky Derby. And I think Cassie's going to have him cranked. That's my Florida Derby. I would take Audible on top, but Mississippi is my interesting place play.
Pick 4, again, goes back to the 11th race, and I'm going to start out with just the 2 horses, Lull and On Leave, in the first leg. I'm going to go 6 deep in the Gulfstream Park Oaks. Princess Warrior, Coach Rocks, Take Charge Paula, Cachet, Daisy, and Mirab. And if you want to add one more, the one Jim mentioned, See Us in Charge, you could throw in there as well. I'm just trying to keep the ticket somewhat manageable. I'm going 4 deep in the Pan American with Bigger Picture, Sadler's Joy, High Happy, and Bullard's Alley. And then going to take 3 in the Florida Derby, Catholic Boy, Audible, and Promises Fulfilled. So 2 by 6 by 4 by 3. A little bigger than I usually go, but I'm going to take a shot that way. How about you?
Let's hope you've got $72 left at the end of the day on the 11th through the 14th races. That's a lot of wagering opportunities at Gulfstream. 14 kind of scares me. I've booked 12 at Keeneland before, and we always worry about those last couple of races. But it's a nice card, and it's very heavily weighted toward the end, so I'm sure people will be able to play it. I'm going to go 5 deep in the Honey Fox with Glory to Kitten, the 1, Lull, the 2, Stormy Victoria, the 3, Res Ipsa, the 8, and On Leave, the 10. So 5 deep in the first leg. The Gulfstream Park Oaks, I'm going to go 4 deep with 3, Take Charge Paula, 4, Cachet, 8, CS in Charge, and 9, Princess Warrior. Going to go 2 deep in the Pan American, taking a stand with Sadler's Joy, the 8, and Bigger Picture, the 7. So 7, 8 there for 2 possibilities. And then the Florida Derby, I'm going to go 3 deep there. I am going to use Audible as my top choice, and I'm going to also throw in Mississippi, the 9, and I'm going to use the 1 horse, Strike Power. Celtic Boy will be my 4th pick there. I hate to throw him out, so if I'm going to spend a little bit more, it's a $60 ticket, so let's make it 80 and throw in Catholic Boy. So I'll go 1, 6, 8, 9 for my last leg of my pick 4.
And if you want to get up early, I think the first post from Dubai and World Cup Day is 7:45 a.m. Eastern Time for their card, and always some great betting races there. And you've got a horse that's trying to race his way into the Kentucky Derby that we saw on Breeders' Cup weekend. And then you got the Dubai World Cup at 1.25 miles with West Coast, an odds-on favorite there. I like Talismanic. I like the angle of Andre Fobbs when he usually shows up at the track to saddle his horses. That usually means he's even more serious, and this horse is reunited with the jock that won him the Breeders' Cup Turf. So I'm going to try to upset the favorite with Talismanic in the Dubai World Cup. But it's a big day, and if you can hang in there through the races that start at 7:45 from Dubai all the way through 14 at Gulfstream Park, it is a test of stamina.
It's a marathon.
It's like the Belmont for horse players.
Yeah, the other race you need to look at Dubai is the 6th race, which is the Dubai Golden Shaheen. XY Jet goes back to Dubai. He missed last year, but he ran second 2 years ago. Mind Your Biscuits is in that race. And then Roy H., the Breeders' Cup champion.
Yes.
That's a great sprint race. I mean, those three alone, they're the ones getting all the money. The others are long shots, but it's going to be a great race because XY Jet and Mind Your Biscuits are in the 1 and the 2, and Roy H. is in the 6 hole, going to sit outside. But that's a great race. It's certainly World Cup worthy, and I like Mendelssohn as well in that. In the 4th race, which is at 9:30 a.m. That's a reasonable time. You might not make the 7:45, but you should make at least the 9:30 if you're playing on Keeneland Select or if you're coming to the Red Mile simulcast facility. And that's the UAE Derby with Derby points there. So Mendelssohn's trying to get to the Derby off a little bit different path.
Best of luck with all of your wagers on the Saturday card. Next week, we have the Keeneland Spring Meet starting. Jim and I will do a podcast for each racing day, so we'll be back with one of these podcasts on the opening day card for Friday, and then, of course, we'll have this In the Money podcast on Saturday, focusing in on the Toyota Bluegrass and the Grade 1 Central Bank Ashland and the great Saturday card. Best of luck today, and for Jim Goodman, I'm Tom Leach, and this is the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com.